Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Morning Glories issue 50. And before I start talking about this issue, just want to give you guys a couple updates. Of course, I have Comic Uno episode 154, and that show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show. So let's start talking about Morning Glories. Sadly, sorry, I still have a little laryngitis. My comic store did not have issue 50. So I'm going to be getting that next week physically, but I did get to read it digitally because I did get a review copy. And this is a 75-page book, so I will say it's a $5.99 book, but is it worth it? Now, have you been reading Morning Glories? It probably is worth it, but we'll talk about it. So, again, this is a special comic for me because it's my favorite indie comic. It's really one of the first indie comics I've ever read, or at least indie comic I pursued because it was an indie comic, and also one of the first comics I've reviewed on this channel. So it's definitely an important comic to me, and I wanted to talk about it. So, with this issue, we get a lot of answers. Like I said, it's a 75-page issue, so there's a lot of meat. And we see different stories. It's not just Casey's storyline. We see Vanessa's story. We also have Hun's story. And I forget the guy's name, but the one who has the daddy issues, who he believes that in life, or in this life, that they're living, nothing exists. Everything is not reality. So that's like his basis. That's a really big part of his story. You find out a little bit more about the tunnels, that this is the reason why we have our consciousness. It's what we were before we were born, because that's the big question, you know, in any philosophy. What were we? We don't remember that, but he does. He remembers everything. So he has this like kind of godlike power, but when he tries to touch it, he explodes. So maybe that godlike power wasn't exactly for him. He couldn't handle it. Now, other stories going on. We still have Hun and his guilt of his brother being dead. And now we have Hun's brother, boyfriend, die in this issue too. There's 5 deaths. There are actually 6 deaths in this issue, but all of them mean something. And yeah, we have him die, and he doesn't see Hun's brother. So what's up with that? What does that mean about the afterlife in this series? Other stories with Vanessa, her future self. Again, all these different ideas of reincarnation. We've done this before. The idea of time and reality and space, all done here. But the main story, obviously, being Casey. Casey talking to the headmaster, learning that the headmaster is watching them, which is interesting. That it wasn't through cameras, it's through panels. And that's just like a really cool tidbit of, hey, you're reading a comic book, and we know that you're reading a comic book. So that was really interesting. Anyways, Casey is trying to like kill the headmaster, but then she decides, oh man, I shouldn't kill him, I don't know what to do here. And well, the headmaster finds out that she wants to kill him, and she's about to, and she dies. And we find out that death is not final, which we kind of already knew, because we had, you know, the whole thing with Jade, and how many deaths have already happened here, and the idea of looking at the past, looking at history. So that's been a big thing. So now we see Casey on Paradise. What does this mean? Is this heaven? Is it not? Is it purgatory? What is this? And that's what I love about this book. I've always said that is this religious existentialist undertone. Because it's the question of what exists. Why are we here? But it says this, it tells the story in a school setting. And I like the reason why the headmaster says, I picked a school because there's rules. There's this structure that the world is supposed to have, but doesn't. But I'm stupid, because you guys are teenagers. You're not going to listen to the rules. But it pretty much says that the headmaster, and I like the little note they made in the end, that the headmaster is a scientist. He experiments, and that he's probably been doing this forever. It was a monastery before, so maybe Casey and Jade and all these characters have done this before in other places. This is just another space. And it's proven that they've done this before, because headmaster said, I know you, Casey. And I love you. And that's why I feel like, is he God? Is he not? Because he has this reference of saying, I love all of you, but I wish you understood my motive. Because that's something we don't know. What is God's motive? So like I said, it goes really deep into that. It really goes very deep into all that stuff. But yeah, I liked it's very, again, this is something you're going to have to read more than once. To get more of the idea of what this is. I always say that with every Morning Glories comic, But you do. You have to really analyze each scene and maybe even just trade read it all. I do recommend that too, to really get everything that's going on and to remember everything that was going on, because there is a lot of pieces to this puzzle. And what I like about this issue too, it gave us a lot of answers, which totally we've been waiting for with Morning Glories, but also it says you're only halfway there. You don't see the full picture yet. And I want to tell you the truth, but you're not ready. And that's kind of an interesting religious undertone too with the headmasters. They're telling Casey that she's not ready. Because isn't that the idea of purgatory? Is the idea that you're not ready to go to this place. You're not ready to go to paradise. But then when she dies, she goes to paradise. So it's very interesting, but also melds different religions, because you have the idea of reincarnation also, which is more, it is a different religion. It's more of the, it's either Buddhist or, no, it's not, yeah, it's Buddhist and not Muslim religion. I think it's just Buddhist religion. But yeah, it's the melding of a lot of different religions here, which I think is interesting. But yeah, overall, this issue was really good, and I can't believe how many deaths were in this. But again, meaningful deaths, because it's all gonna wrap up and play off the story. You could definitely tell there's so much more to Endgame, and this has all been planned. And I think issue 100 is supposed to be the last, so we're in the halfway point now, and now we're on summer vacation, which is a beach, but also death. Of course, that's where they're going with Morning Glories. So hopefully you enjoyed this review. I gave this issue 5 stars. I loved it. It was everything I asked for and more. And like I said, I think you could deeply analyze this book, which is great. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.